intro, Walter.
We're going to pack Jeff Hooker's 9-cell Maveron. We're going to pro pack it. We're going to inspect the rig at the same time. So the butthead can take this video home. Here he is, right here, watching.
This is how you
pack
a malfunction.
We can pack you a malfunction. I'm going to start by checking the 3-ring assembly and make sure the closing loop on that is connected and not frayed or anything, and is connected to the cutaway handle. It also goes to the reserve static line. The left side is fine, the reserve static line here is connected. This 3-ring assembly is correct. There's no frays or tears in that closing loop, and that cord is up there. While I have a little tension on the back of the container, we can pull the risers up and inspect them, and there's no frays, tears, rips. You can see that the closing or the brake lines are already stowed. You have no problem with that?
No problem with that.
Okay, then I'll step up to the front of the canopy, or the front of the container, and grab. If you want to come around, can you see behind my leg?
Okay.
Take the brake line and the rear riser. How they go in the first finger, the middle finger, and the front riser goes in the third finger. You take the left brake line, that goes on the top of your first finger, the middle finger gets the rear riser, the front riser goes in the next finger. While keeping a little tension on it, keeping the connector links level and equal, pick up tension on the line.
You're doing it real professional, I just want you to know that.
Walk all the way up to the canopy. You can check the cascaded lines here where they meet, make sure there's no frays there. Go all the way up, keep tension on the lines again until you get to the slider. Pull the slider, you should come in the front here. You can find the center of the canopy by going through the center of the slider. Put the left on the left side and the material on the right on the right. Just kind of separate all of that. You can also check your brake line connections here by taking the left brake lines and checking all of them and make sure they're connected properly here. And then you can do the same thing with the right side and make sure those brake lines are connected there. Pull the slider up across the palm of your hand and lift the canopy off the floor. Now you have to flake the cells. Find all 9 cells by taking the left foot, stepping forward a little bit. Pull out the first cell. Count all the way through 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Once you get them wrapped there, you're flaking the canopy, and what that's doing is just flaking the canopy. You're kind of folding everything up inside and putting all the material where it's supposed to lay one on top of the other. Then I'll put about 4 rolls in here.
And you do them nice and tightly.
And I tighten it up nice, and what that does is keep the nose from being instantly exposed to the air and give a slower, softer opening. That's
Pause.
what I'll do. My legs to keep it neat and to keep it out of the way.
Just make
Then
sure it
I'll
doesn't go up your
Start
ass.
with the slider and look inside, or not the slider, I'm sorry, the stabilizer. And I'll look down inside the stabilizer and make sure all the material is nice and neat and folded where it's supposed to be. Making sure that there's no lines crossed or nothing like that. Clear that stabilizer all the way around to the other side. Make sure there's no lines crossed. And then I'll drop the slider. And just leave the slider lay there. Then I'll find the middle of the tail. And on glide path canopies, they all have a tab that shows the center of the tail. If it doesn't have a tail or a tab in the center, it will almost always have the warning symbol in it.
Mm-hmm.
That seam is the center. Once I get that center seam lined up on my thumb, I'll stick the rolled nose into the center of the canopy. Then I'll take this hand out of these lines, just put them all on the palm of my hand, and tighten it up.
Mm-hmm.
Start by clearing the stabilizers again here, making sure they're all nice and neat, the stabilizer's clear, and that there's no lines crossed over the top of the canopy or tangled. Once I get that done, I'll pull it to this side, and then I'll get the other side. Throw that over. And then you clear these stabilizers again. See how they're tightened up in here? what you want to do is clear them all out of there. They all want to be cleared. See how nice they're coming out of there? All the way up to the seams, the little one, and this is your last row. Then you grab the tail again and throw it over the back. I'll push the nose up a little inside the center so I can get the tail even. And I'll take a couple of nice neat folds right here on the tail. Making sure all the time that the canopy doesn't touch the floor.
How many times you folding it? Any amount?
He's just rolling it
until
up
I feel the nose.
tight.
Okay.
Until I feel it hits the nose.
All right.
And it's nice and snug. And then, not letting the nose, the tip of the canopy hit the floor, I'll lay it down here and pick tension up on my right arm so the lines stay tight. I usually kick the bag out of the way and then I just lay that down. Nice and neat here. So it looks like a big ice cream cone. Getting all this out. And while I'm kneeling, in warning symbol, I'm kneeling on the slider and keeping all the lines nice and straight. Just fold this in, and I usually lay on it once or twice to get the air out. While I'm here, I'll check where the bridle connects to the canopy, and at the top of the canopy, you can see where the bridle ring attachment is sewn on. I almost always check that. Then I'll check the stitching here, straighten your bag out. And if you want, while you're laying down resting, getting the air out of the container, check where the pin is attached. Make sure that's secure. And then you can go the rest of the bridle and make sure that the bridle's attached to the pilot chute. Okay. Later on, we'll show you how to fix the pilot chute.
That'd be nice. How will you land?
This one lines with my tennis finger. This one is nice here. And I'll wrap the tail of the canopy just below the lines connected. So this is all nice and neat. Then about the palm width of your hand, you go just behind that, and you make your first S fold.
How do you determine that length? Like a palm wide? An open palm hand? Like,
About a palm width.
okay.
You see where that pinky is reading clothing?
Yeah.
I'll put that hand just on the left side of that.
Okay.
And fold that under. That makes those two nice and neat. Then I'll lay the right hand on top, left hand will go under and grab both sides of the canopy. Keep it secure while it goes completely over. Lay it on top while pressing down with the left hand. Bring the right hand back over on top. So it keeps that all nice and secure. Should kind of look like Mickey Mouse ears here. Straighten out the bag. You can wrap them inside here. Make them nice and neat. While I keep pressure on the back a little bit of the canopy, I'll lift it up and bring the bag underneath it and kneel on it with my right knee.
Yeah. Like low Yeah. Like take low time.
Now you just keep it as neat as you can. It's a little higher. With your right knee still on the bag, you can shove it up inside there. You can see it's inside the bag pretty nice. What I'll do here is make sure that you can see the ring that connects the bridle to the canopy. And make sure there's no fabric between that ring.
Hey, get away from me.
After I get it in the bag, neaten it up a little bit here, kind of roll the bag over, so I make sure all the canopy is inside the bag. And I'll always start on the right side. I grab the right tube still and pull it through the right side of the grommet, and bring the grommet to the rubber band. You usually take 2 fingers. Again, I'll straighten out the lines and bring any excess lines inside the bag.
Okay, let me question over here. If I'm right-handed, I could start the other direction, right? It's the same.
Probably.
It's symmetrical.
Probably.
Pause.
Okay, after I get the first one stowed, I'll again force the fabric inside the bag and bring the rubber band through the grommet.
Well, that sucker really squealed.
Get about 2 fingers worth, and I'll stick my finger up through the loop here to keep tension on that and grab the next bunch of line. So I can make sure that the lines between my hand and the container are nice and neat. And from here, go again, just walking back a little bit, back and forth. Because it's on the tarp, I don't mind dragging the container. It's not going to hurt. But you wouldn't want to do that, of course, on concrete or something like that. Get a packing mat or even walk the bag up to the canopy. And just keep going all the way up until you get enough of a bite on each line with the tube stuff. You want to make sure you pull about a thumb's length up there, because if you don't, you grab too little material or too little line, you'll get what's called line dump, where all the lines will come off at once. And I guess rumor has it that it's broken people's necks because it opens so hard.
Jeff says no. So, you know.
That's Susie.
You can't listen to Jeff Smith. You don't know jack shit about this.
That's Susie talking.
You just
That's Susie talking.
Well, Susie's not here. How do you know? You don't skydive down there.
Susie has this bad habit of telling everybody about the lines and how they control your opening.
I can tell you for a fact that if I don't pull enough lines out of the Jonathan through them rubber bands, it's a smack of an opening. It all just comes out too fast. And I can't even use tube stoves with mine because it comes out too fast. I have to use rubber bands. Once I get that all in there, just kind of sit it in the bottom of the bag nice and neat. And I get a pull-up cord. And here you can check the closing loop, make sure that's not frayed or worn. Stick that in there and then just you can stow your ride.
Okay, let's see. Mark, can you hear me? Raise your hand.
You see that there's a little extra line in the bottom.
Okay. Jimmy,
I'll
Jerry,
With that extra line.
y'all have a good one. Smile, laugh, kick the screen.
You guys want to meet the airplane?
Yeah.
I got your same
Hit
five-way
the jump
boat
master in the
again.
head.
5-way, huh?
Yeah, we're still in the same boat. You're the only 5-inch jump we got out there.
I want to make a fun jump.
Ball.
I'm making a fun jump
Christy
today.
didn't come up today, we wouldn't be having this problem.
Oh, thank you very much.
This javelin is the same as a vector. It's bottom right, bottom top right, left.
That's what they want to do. Leave them alone.
Kind of kneel on it, get some air out of it.
Has a lot of hot air in it, like women.
Easy.
Loud and clear. Thank you. I'll probably punch out because you're around a nice little run up and everything.
most important to use the middle finger in that because it's shoving way up.
That's the longest. We got the further stuff in there. Can you do the pilot chute too? I know how to do that.
Once you get pilot chute bridle made to the side of the container, making sure it doesn't go through the leg strap. Much room to pilot chute. To get that little slack out of there, I'll find the center line. And then just pull it down a little bit. So it's nice and tight. Ply it in half. Start with the mesh and S-fold the bridle inside here. One side over and then just roll it up nice and snug. Bridle out if you need to and then just get some crazy glue, put it on the pilot chute, stick it in the pocket.
I didn't give it to you, that's fine.
You are now ready to skydive.
That's my rig.
On surveillance, watching Jeff go get money so he can think about getting equipment. And we got lots of time to burn up on the tape, so oop. The target's disappeared.
Right in front of the
Went inside the building. I got a tree right in my way, so I'll back off and video the tree for a minute.